Hey everyone, Jenny here from Symphony7, and I am here with Frank Wyatt from Enterprising Partnerships, and we're talking about your program, which is Getting Back to Business. Now, Frank, we love having you as a supporter of Symphony7 and of the upcoming Sustainable Development Business Forum. Can you tell us a little bit about what is your program about and who does it target?
Sure. So Enterprising Partnerships has two streams. Getting down to business, which is all about emerging businesses, startups, young entrepreneurs, migrant entrepreneurs, etc. People who are getting into business for the first time. And then is getting back to businesses for middle market firms who are actually interested in what do we do now under the circumstances that we're experiencing right now. So these are businesses of 10 to 20, 30, 50 employees who have suddenly realised two things. One, they can't shoehorn the business model that they had pre-COVID into the environment that's going to emerge post-COVID. So many things have been changed along the way, and I'll come to some of those in a second if you like. The second is that technology has crept up on them so fast that we now have Industry 4.0, quite unique, quite revolutionary, that has never been experienced in the history of mankind. In the past, we've had the steam engine come along, and that kind of gave us a step change in what we do. Then we had the internet come along, and that gave us a step change along the way. Now we've got 9 technologies that have come together at exactly the same time, and they're converging, completely converging to generate new solutions to the world. And those companies that are sticking to their old models are finding that other companies are adopting new technologies from Industry 4.0 and are just screaming away from them. And a practical example to that, Jenny, is the difference between taxis and Uber or any of the new population moving businesses. Taxis thought that the solution that people wanted was to go from A to B. And that was it. So they didn't care about any of the other dimensions. So when you rang up a taxi, they'd say, yeah, you've got one, your address right, next available, we'll send it. How does that help me? I have no idea when that taxi's going to arrive. Uber worked out that you actually wanted to know where the taxi was and when it was going to arrive. They also worked out that you didn't want to fiddle around with money or have to juggle your legs around so that the taxi driver could get the machine out of the glove box to swipe your card and then have a slip that you had to keep to give to your accountant to get reimbursed. Uber did all of that digitally. They used fintech technologies to actually overcome all of that. Now, people don't understand what fintech is, but let me tell you, it's simply financial transactions through technology. And that's what Uber uses. That's what Paystay does. That's what, so many of the new technologies are able to actually utilise. Now, there are dozens and dozens of examples of that. Uber also worked out that women wanted to know that they were going to be safe in a taxi. The driver was being profiled and, given a rating. The customer was given a rating. So if you were drunk regularly, you were given a 0 rating and you never got picked up by Uber. You had to go to taxis, etc. They wanted to know that their partner knew where they were going to be so they could, be seen in the taxi. There were all types of little things that Uber discovered that were actually solutions that people wanted. And by the way, we get you from A to B. All right? Whereas taxis only thought about A to B.
Yeah.
All right? So the new technologies are solving processes all the way along the line. And I heard of one today, a relative of mine is in Telstra. He's at one of the regional sales offices, right? He's got a client who serves nursing homes and hospitals with chemicals and other things, drugs and whatever. But that client said to Telstra, do you have an iPad whereby elderly people can get access to their kids on a regular basis, easy to use, practical. Telstra hasn't got it. No, it's got satellite technology. It's got, a million other things that are out there that doesn't solve anything for anybody because nobody actually knows what they want solved at that level. But they haven't got this thing, which is actually a practical solution for a real client, right? One of my clients that I advise has exactly that product. And by the way, Telstra is their service provider. And Telstra doesn't know that they've actually got them as a client. And so I'm putting the two of them together tomorrow in such a way. And that's part of what we do in getting back to business. We build networks of businesses needing to grow from each other's capabilities and leveraging each other's technologies and each other's capabilities. We also run workshops for them. But the difference between us and a whole lot of other people running workshops is that, yes, we have structured workshops and we're about to go public with a new one that's giving you adaptation technologies and mindsets around that. But we also work with the business owner at their pace. So we structure the learning around the learner as opposed to saying, we're the teacher, you learn at our pace. We've actually modified our approach and turned it on its head and said, you're actually looking for a solution. We want to work with you to actually deliver the solution you want, not what we're delivering. So we're shifting to an Uberized model. Right?
Love it. I love it. Any innovation in education, I think, is really, really positive. And
we run those type of things. We also run a business allies roundtable model. There's a powerful amount of energy comes when you get business entrepreneurs in the same room talking together in confidence around issues that they have in common.
Yeah.
They generate solutions. So as a facilitator, my job is not to teach them or to even coach them. Maybe it's to prod them occasionally. Yeah. But effectively, it's to reveal to them the stuff that they actually know and that they've forgotten, and to assist them to share that with someone else so that 1 and 1 makes 5 as they grow the capabilities together. And so a transport company that I work with, I walked into their business just recently and they do large haul food transport services. All right. One of the Victoria's famous muesli bar manufacturers is their major client, right? Without naming them. And I said, well, look, what have you got? You've got someone who manages your truck delivery because they have owner drivers that they hire. Trucks and drivers come together. So you've got someone who manages that. You've got a computer-aided system that actually manages all of that process. You've got an accounting system. You've got a client profile of a number of clients. What else do those same clients need? Solve for them. Where are they going to get other solutions? We've built 4 new revenue streams for that one transport company by simply looking at their own clients and saying, where are those clients going to get their problems solved for them? And pulling those back into one place. So their clients are now coming to the one provider to get their line haul supply, their warehousing, their pick and pack, and now their courier service and their heavy duty technology equipment. So it's not that hard, but many companies don't see revenue lines right under their nose because they're so busy focused on the day-to-day rather than stepping back.
Yeah, and I think, Frank, from my experience with you, is what you bring is actually, having worked with so many different businesses and seeing so many different things, you bring all of that to your customers as opposed to them simply not seeing and not having the answers. A mentor of mine in previous years always used to say, what is it that you don't know and what can't you see? And it's hard to do that from within because you don't know what you don't know.
You're looking at you're the same person in the mirror every morning.
Exactly. So I think what you bring to the table, those round table your allies, business allies
around tables, yeah.
Yeah, and just really meeting such a need, and the peer learning that can take place from other people's experiences is just brilliant.
Well, here was another thing. We all went into COVID together, and I thought, oh, well, there goes everything, there goes the business. And then I realised that the business allies around tables could draw people in from anywhere at any time. So we can have businesses, manufacturing companies up in Wodonga, and there's not many of them up there, but they want to network with other manufacturing companies. We can connect them to the manufacturing companies in Warrnambool. We can connect them to the ones in Auckland, because Auckland's on the lunchtime break when we're having a breakfast session. So we bring them all into Zoom, right? But effectively, they're all talking to each other. They're not talking about time. They're talking about business and engaging around their solutions they're looking for collectively. Zoom has liberated us from having to be location specific.
Totally agree with you, and we're very similar. I absolutely love that. So Frank, can I ask you for a couple of little predictions for us? What do you think? What questions should businesses be asking themselves right now? Is my first question for you.
The first question I'd be asking businesses to ask for themselves is, why am I in business? What drives me to be a business entrepreneur? Because if you're there just to earn an income, you haven't got the mindset to be an entrepreneur. And it's only entrepreneurs that are going to survive in a world that's got to be agile. The second question is, what business am I actually in? Because many businesses that I see think that are in plumbing, but they're actually in construction. Like, I've got a plumbing company that hasn't used a plumber's guide for 10 years. They build self-contained walls with all the plumbing in them for high-rise apartments. The wall arrives and you plug the plumbing into it. You want a bigger toilet room? Sure, we'll just move the wall, plug. You want a bigger bathroom? Sure, we'll just move this thing around and we'll put that in. All right. They build Meccano sets of building rooms with all the plumbing in situ already. That's all built off-site, by the way, and brought in. Once I convinced them that they were actually in the construction industry, they went looking for different people, reframed their business model, got themselves going again. They thought they were in plumbing.
Frank, I think you and I can talk for hours, because we know that we share that absolute passion for strategic alliances.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful tool to collaborate with other people in business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Where do you see the role of collaboration moving forward?
Australia has such a lousy reputation for being collaborators. On the world scale, we are going south. If there was a ranking, there is a ranking system. I don't know how that's actually generated, but we were number 22. We're now 35 on the ranking. We are heading south really rapidly. In other words, the rest of the world, Western world predominantly, but some of Southeast Asia as well, are rapidly realising the power of collaboration to build capability through coming together with their capabilities in such a way that the scope and the scale of construction or business supply or solution generation is much more powerful, because you've gone from one capability set to a number of other capability sets coming together, which allows you to converge those technologies, converge those capabilities, converge the industry solutions to grow your market base significantly, right?
Yeah.
Without that, companies start to implode because they can't keep up overall. And whilst they think that they're almighty in themselves and they've got all the solutions internally, that we call it open innovation, but it doesn't make any what the term is. Ideas are out there, not inside your firm. They're available to you from all over the place. Go and listen to them and let them permeate your business and saturate you with ideas that will take you from being a convergent thinker to a divergent thinker, which is what startups actually have. And that's why they're so powerful, because you're growing rapidly with divergency. It's when companies start to plateau and they start to get busy doing but lazy about thinking strategically, that they desperately need to move into that, back into that divergent thinking. And collaboration allows you to do it. Yeah. Now, collaboration is not easy. People think that it's one of the soft sciences. No, the hell it is. It's one of the hardest things you will ever do. It is one of the toughest things, because the fundamental principle of collaboration was taught to me by the CEO of Balderstone Hornibrook, Bob the Builder Company, but not insubstantial. He said to me when I asked him, "What do you mean by collaboration, Len?" And he said, "Surrender." And I, that's not what I expected. And he said, "Frank, you have to surrender a part of yourself to allow someone else in. Otherwise, you're simply creating an interface between you and them that's batting them away, and you're learning nothing and you're gaining nothing. It's a zero-sum game. What you want is 2 and 2 to create 5. And as soon as you start to get that model going, you'll learn incrementally. Of course, the reality is that companies don't do collaboration well first time. You have to keep experimenting and keep experimenting and keep experimenting, and your capability to collaborate grows accordingly. Hewlett Packard, used to do these things. They did a whole lot of strategic alliances, thousands of them, and they realised that there was asymmetry between their capacity to collaborate and the people that they were going to build an alliance with. So they documented every alliance that they ever built, and they gave it to the emerging company so as to bring them up to a symmetry so they could actually integrate. It was a sensational piece of a realisation of what collaboration actually requires. You have to give away stuff to allow other people to come into you. It's a powerful, powerful tool for growing businesses.
Such a powerful tool. I mean, you said the 2 + 2 = 5. I mean, ultimately, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's about creating something that neither of you could have done independently.
Absolutely, comprehensively. And I used to do reviews of industry sectors, right? And I did a review of the water industry in South Australia at one stage. The scope and nature of collaboration that was happening between businesses to businesses, businesses to customers, business to public research, and business to government, in terms of what the whole dynamic was in terms of the ecosystem. And I wrote this report at one stage to talk about the companies in the water industry swam in the shallow end of the swimming pool because they were not capable of swimming in the deep end because they hadn't learnt how to collaborate. Right? And it's true that, on Friday night at the pub, they'll tell you all about how good they are and how fantastic their collaborations are. On Monday morning, you go and have a look at them and they'll say, well, we haven't quite got it.
Love it. Frank, I could talk to you all day long. I absolutely love it. Thank you for sharing with me.
Not at all.
With getting back to business. I think it's a program that is so desperately needed right now. And for so many businesses, it's very exciting to be back open, very exciting to be back out there. But what is the strategy? No one really knows. So,
and that's what we're there to help them actually identify those strategies and to work alongside of them as they come out of COVID and out of the recession. Because the world will be different.
The world will be very different, and we love having a relationship with you, Frank. So
thanks very much.
So much. Thanks.
Okay.